Have you ever pondered the mysteries of the universe's creation as described in Genesis 1? The first chapter of Genesis, the Bible's opening book, has sparked countless debates and interpretations over the centuries. Today, we delve into the heart of these discussions, exploring various theories that attempt to explain this profound biblical text. First, we have the day-age theory. This interpretation suggests that the days mentioned in Genesis 1 are not literal 24-hour periods, but rather extended eras or epochs of time. It's a view that seeks to reconcile the biblical account of creation with the geological and cosmological evidence we see in the world today. However, it's not without its critics. Some argue that the Hebrew word for day, used in Genesis, yom, typically refers to a literal day, casting doubt on this interpretation. Next, there's the gap theory, which proposes a vast temporal gap between Genesis 1:1 and 1:2. Advocates of this theory assert that a catastrophic event, possibly linked to the fall of Satan, led to the destruction of an original creation, which God then remade in the 6 days described in Genesis. This theory's strength lies in its ability to explain the presence of evil and suffering in the world, but it's often criticized for reading too much into the text and for lacking strong scriptural support. The mature creation theory, on the other hand, posits that God created the universe and everything in it in a mature state. This means that even though the universe appears to be billions of years old, it was created by God a mere few thousand years ago. This theory aligns with a literal interpretation of Genesis, but struggles to reconcile with scientific evidence. Moving on, the framework theory sees the 7 days in Genesis 1 not as a chronological sequence, but as a literary framework that the author used to convey theological truths about God's creation. This theory is praised for its literary sensitivity, but is criticized for not taking the text's historical aspects seriously enough. Lastly, we have the cosmic temple inauguration view. This perspective sees Genesis 1 as a temple text, describing God's creation of the world as his cosmic temple, where he rests and rules. This interpretation is lauded for its rich theological implications, but is often seen as too metaphorical and not literal enough. So, there you have it, 5 of the most prominent theories that seek to interpret the creation account in Genesis 1. Each offers a unique perspective, with its own strengths and weaknesses. In summary, the day-age theory sees the days of Genesis as long epochs, while the gap theory proposes a temporal gap between Genesis 1:1 and 1:2. The mature creation theory asserts that the universe was created in a mature state, while the framework theory interprets the 7 days as a literary device. Lastly, the cosmic temple inauguration view perceives Genesis 1 as a description of God's cosmic temple. These interpretations remind us of the richness and depth of the biblical text, and the endless quest for understanding that it continues to inspire. As we continue to explore these theories, may we draw ever closer to the truth of Genesis 1, and in doing so, deepen our understanding of the world, the universe, and perhaps the divine itself.